What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, joined by Dilly Vanilli, Kevin Olenek. We are here to preview week number 8 of the NFL 2017 season, giving you our picks, our predictions, and our thoughts on the current state of the NFL, as well as breaking down the games, game by game, pick by pick. And we also get in each other's faces over comments like Doug Baldwin is better than Julio Jones. Okay, guys, so how do we feel about week number 8? This week number 8 means we are exactly, after this week, halfway through the NFL regular season, meaning that we are actually starting to identify who those teams are that will sneak in or miss the playoffs. How do you guys feel about week number 8? What's the vibe?
The vibe is that this season's been pretty crazy. Some teams you didn't expect to be this good or in the race are in the race. And some teams we thought were going to do better are doing very poorly. So we're in week 8. A lot of teams are actually on byes this week. We have 13 games, so 6 teams are on bye. So this week we're going to see some teams that I think are going to be in some big matchups for a chance to make the playoffs. Like these need to be crucial wins for some teams. Some teams need to win just to kind of survive and get in there. And then it should be interesting to see some of these games to maybe like there'll be more impact towards the end of the year. And we don't know about that yet. So this should be an interesting week. A couple of really good games, and hopefully they're entertaining because we have seen a lack of entertaining games so far this season.
So just to fill in the teams that are on the byes, the Arizona Cardinals, Green Bay Packers, Jacksonville Jaguars, LA Rams, New York Giants, and Tennessee Titans. Kevin.
There's some interesting games this week. Games that I think I see a couple of teams on the potential for a little bit of a downfall. We'll talk about that. Mitch mentioned before that we think we're going to have pretty similar picks, which might bore you, but I don't know about that. But I do think that there are some teams with some must-win games here in terms of, like, not that, you're going to lose, you're out of the playoffs, but you would put yourself in a better position if you can win. I'm specifically thinking Dallas-Washington will be an interesting game for that. And Denver-Kansas City, I think, is a very interesting game. I don't think either of those teams can afford to lose, quite frankly. But
just not those games. I think there's a majority of them actually mean a lot towards the playoffs and playoff implications. Going through this schedule, obviously we'll talk about it, but Seattle-Houston is a big game. Carolina-Tampa Bay is a big game. Atlanta and the Jets is a big game. Oakland-Buffalo is a big game. Chargers-New England is a big game. Miami-Baltimore. So all these games really, like, win or lose for either side. You're talking about one team potentially fighting towards a spot in the playoffs and one team basically being eliminated in many of these games if one team were to lose. So it's a big deal this week in the NFL, and that's why we're going to pick it, and that's why you should listen to our picks. How are we doing this year, Dilly? Do you have our standings updated?
No, we did not. I have to go and do that. Hold on. We will get to comments, everybody, when we get to after the Bears-Saints game. I will have our standings up by next week. I haven't kept track with it. I know our weekly ones. I just don't know our full season. So I know Adam's winning.
Mitch, my question to you is, are you picking from a bag or are you using your brain?
Oh.
No, I was much better than 50% last week. I think I was around like 80%.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure. I think everyone did well last week, but I'm not sure.
I did not. I was terrible.
Oh, okay.
So bad opposite of me.
I think I only had 4 or 5 wrong, so that's pretty good.
I had 5 wrong. I could have had 4 if I didn't pick the Redskins, but it's all good. It's all good. We'll get back to it.
All right. So, as Dylan said, make sure you're in those comment section, whether it's live, whether it's after the fact, comment below who you think is going to win or any other questions or comments you have regarding the video or this week in the NFL. So let's get into the games. Miami Dolphins play on Thursday Night Football in Baltimore. This is a huge game. The Dolphins, obviously 4-2, kind of unexpected, but for a lot of people, this team is 4-2. But despite being 4-2, And despite losing their quarterback, they might be getting better.
Yes.
And I think their team actually believes that as well. I think Matt Moore gives their team a boost in more ways than just on the field. I think the players want to play for him more. I think they respect him more. And I feel like there is this sense in the locker room where he got ripped off. At the beginning of the season, when Ryan Tannehill went down, I was saying, okay, they'll be fine. They have Matt Moore. He was pretty good last year. I mean, they won't be a spectacular Super Bowl contender, but he was okay for them last year. And he deserves another chance because he was pretty good. So they go out, and what do? They sign Jay Cutler, who I felt was maybe an upgrade, a little, like this much. You could even say it was a downgrade because Matt Moore played last year, played pretty well, and Jay Cutler didn't. So, I mean, there's mixed thoughts on that situation, but I think for myself, I look at the way Matt Moore finished that game against the Jets, and I think the team overall just fights a little bit more, and they like having Matt Moore as that quarterback. So looking at this game, Baltimore is inept on offense. They can't score points. Their running backs are their leading receivers. I can't even, like, their tight ends don't get open. Their receivers don't get open. A lot of that because Joe Flacco can't throw the ball anymore. He's done. Their offensive line is hurt, so they can't block. Their defense is also hurt, and this team is just not good. I mean, they've taken too many injuries from the point where I thought with their full team, they're an 8-8, 9-7 team, like 7-9 maybe, and without like a bunch of those players, they've just declined in quality. Joe Flacco has gotten just worse and worse every week. And I think the Miami Dolphins win this game, despite it being in Baltimore, and Baltimore being favored. I think Miami comes in this game. Baltimore is actually surprisingly last in run defense. I think J.J. will have a big game. I think Matt Moore will work off that. Jarvis Landry's playing really well, and their defense has been okay. It's not very good. But it's been okay in certain games and certain situations, and I just don't see the Ravens scoring against anybody. So I have the Dolphins winning this game by, let's say, 4 points. We'll go 24-20.
Thursday Night Football has been weird because there's some games this season I'm like, these are not going to be good games. And then they turn out to be really good. I don't get it. Last week's was a banger. This week we don't have really two teams that are great. But the situation in Miami is interesting because of the fact that we have Matt Moore and not Jay Cutler here. And I like Matt Moore. He's not great in any way, but he's I think this team likes their team overall, and I think they like him even more without Jay Cutler. They're 4-2. They're wanting to compete for a playoff spot. They're still in the race for the AFC East. Let's not forget that. Even if they're not going to win it, they still are in the race for the wild card. I believe are they the 5th seed right now? I don't exactly know off the top of my head. But
I think they're right behind Buffalo.
Let's see. They're 6th, yeah, because they're right behind Buffalo. You're right. So they are technically in the playoffs as of right now. Baltimore is 3-4. So to me, I think this is one of those must-win games for both. But I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins. I like this team a little bit more. I like Jay Ajayi. I think he's going to have a big game. I think he's going to go off. I think the injuries that you were talking about have been piling up. 3 receivers are questionable for this game. Mike Wallace is questionable. Perryman's questionable. There's a lot of injuries on the front of Baltimore that I just don't like. And this Dolphins team's been scrappy, and I think they got a lot of heart, just like Jarvis Landry was talking about after his post game this week. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins. Surprisingly enough, 5-2 here.
Name one quarterback that has the worst quarterback rating than Joe Flacco.
I'm going to guess that's Jay Cutler.
It is Deshaun Kaiser.
Ooh.
Okay.
So,
that's
not Russell Wilson?
No, not Russell Wilson. Of course not Russell Wilson. I remember picking the Ravens to be 3-13, and we were like, no way, no way.
So they're going to lose every game for the remainder of the season.
Actually, you look at this team, it is not out of the realm of possibility that they could lose most of the rest of the way.
They
could potentially run the table. This team is very, very, very bad. They're They have 7 of their top receivers pretty much injured at one point or another. Their run defense is terrible. They can run the ball. Also, what is interesting is they've lost their last 2 home games. Actually, technically, if you look at the England game was a home game. They've lost their last 3. They've lost. I just don't.
Wait, why did they get the home game when Jacksonville goes to London every year?
Because they wanted to spread it out. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, I'm going with the Dolphins here. Simply, I think it's not only that the Ravens are bad. I think I agree with you guys what you're saying about, like, I think Matt Moore gives them a better feel offensively and defensively. I see them able to run the ball. I see that Adam Gase will change his game plan appropriately and not rely so much on Jay Cutler. And if they go to the Wildcat, I'm sure Matt Moore will participate. So that will also help as well.
Okay. The next game is the Minnesota Vikings at the Cleveland Browns. To sum this up.
London.
In London? Okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Just to sum this up, I think the Vikings are a lot better. I think the Vikings are a contender in the NFC. A lot of that has to do with their defense. Their defense is tough. They're not going to give up many points against the Browns. The Browns, like I said, not enough talent on that side of the ball. And I think the Vikings should be able to pass the ball this week. Hopefully Stephon Diggs plays, which I think opens the game up a lot for their run game. I think the Vikings win this one quite easily by multiple scores.
Everybody commenting about our picks. We're going to get to them. We'll also get to your comments later on in the video. Just want to put that out there. Vikings, Browns. This is in London, so anything can happen except a Browns win. Last week I said the Browns could win against the Titans because the Titans weren't all that good, and they almost did. They almost won that game.
I don't think anyone picked them, though, right?
No, nobody picked them, but I said it could have happened.
Yeah, we said it could have happened.
I picked them. I did pick the Browns.
Dummy.
Oh, you did?
Not necessarily a dummy.
No, the Doug Ball. No, I'm kidding. But that's right. I lost our picks last week, but I'm gonna figure that out later. So when it comes to the Vikings-Browns game, first off, Myles Garrett is on concussion protocol. They're just let's go ahead and bench him for the rest of the year. We don't need the guy. We don't need any more injuries for the guy. There's not enough talent. Kaiser. I feel like there's just so much bad luck with this team because every year they go first-round quarterback and then they miss it. And the one year they should have gone for a first-round quarterback, they waited to get the Kaiser, and then he flops.
Well, they should have went for a first-round quarterback with Carson Wentz. We bring this up every week.
They missed out on Wentz. They missed out on Watson. They missed out on Mahomes. It's depressing. I'm going to go with the Vikings. Too much talent. I don't even care who the quarterback is. I don't care if it's Bridgewater, for God's sake. There's just the defense is going to kill them, even with Sendejo out for the suspension. So there you go.
Yeah, you go with the Vikings here. I guess this is going to be an interesting question. What happens if they lose? I do think. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, you picked the Vikings here. To me, it's a no-brainer. The reason I did pick the Browns last week, though, is that just that Titans team, I think, is not that good, and it was sort of a statement that they're.
I agreed with you. I just didn't want to pick the Browns.
Yeah, this Vikings team is despite their talent, despite losing players, they're still winning. So I don't see that changing here. So I will go with the Vikings.
Okay, Oakland Raiders in Buffalo to play the Bills. Bills had a really exciting game. Might have been the best game of the week against the Bucs. I rewatched that one. What I got from that, I think that the Bills do have underrated pass rush. Specifically, I think a guy that's not really getting a lot of really notoriety or like people aren't really talking about him because he's kind of been around here and there. He's a decent player, but Jerry Hughes has been a huge player for them, defensive end. And if he could get after Derek Carr, that's going to be big. Raiders offense seemed to be back a little bit against Kansas City. The Raiders in general, I guess, from what we saw last year, because their defense has never really been there for them, and it wasn't there for them this week or this past week. But the key to this game here for me is that the Oakland Raiders are a West Coast team. They're traveling to the East Coast. This is an early game for them. I think the Bills, overall, they're a defensive football team. It wasn't their best defensive performance last week, but I think they'll be able to do enough against the Raiders. No Marshawn Lynch, if that really matters a lot, but but I think they'll be able to kind of slow that run game down, focus on the pass game, unleash their pass rushers, get after Derek Carr, and I think that's going to force some mistakes. I also think the Bills on offense will be able to run the ball, kind of control the clock, and then win the game in their style of game. So I think Buffalo always tough to beat, especially for a West Coast team. I'm going to go with the Bills.
Home advantage, baby. One of the most underrated home advantages in the league goes to the Bills. They're playing this Raiders team that did beat the Chiefs last week, but in very dramatic fashion. Must win for them, considering they still have to be alive for that. So they're 3-4. I think this is a must win for them, but I'm going to go with the Bills. I like what I've seen out of this team this year. I like Tyrod Taylor as a quarterback. I think he can lead them to some good success. LaShawn McCoy, he's been one of the most consistent running backs, probably the most consistent running back of the last 5 years, and I think he's going to do well. When it comes to the defense, I think they've been scrappy all year. They gave up some points against the Bucs last week, but I think in this scenario, the Bills want to stay alive in the AFC East. Can't really afford to lose this game, even though they'll still be over 500. I think they got a good position with the playoff in that wild card spot right now. I'm going to go with the Bills, just a little bit more that I like out of this team than I do with the Raiders. And by the way, Kev, I just want to point this out. Crabtree leads in receiving touchdowns this season.
He does.
Where? Like in the NFL?
Yeah.
In the NFL, yeah.
I got to look that up. That's ridiculous.
That's true?
Yes, seven.
That's ridiculous. I can't even believe he had 7 catches.
So
that's not fair.
Is he overrated?
That's not fair.
Is he overrated?
That's not.
Is Cooper gonna have another good game though? That's my question.
No, he caught all of what he was supposed to do, like in the season in one game, and it's just gonna be no.
Okay.
I'm picking the Bills here as well. I like the run. The big thing to me is Oakland does not have a running game, and Buffalo will have a running game. I just don't think that you can let Derek Carr just sit there and pass. I know that Crabtree has all the touchdowns. Ooh.
Hey, 7 touchdowns, baby. That's more than everybody else.
But this Bills team is all around a very, very good team, especially defensively. You're 8.9% of trips inside the red zone, 4th points allowed. Strong defense will hold them off. I don't think this is going to be as close as you think. No, maybe we'll go 23-20. I could see that.
Oh, I definitely think this is going to be a close game. I just think the Bills don't really have the capability, I think, to really kill teams, especially with the quality of the Raiders. But unless they get like a special teams touchdown or a defensive touchdown, but I think the Bills should win a close one. Does AC have the Bills too? This is kind of one of those where I was just wondering.
AC has the Raiders.
Okay. The next game, the LA Chargers play the New England Patriots in what is being called the Mitch Milani Bowl. Of course, we know that the Chargers is basically my second bandwagon team. Patriots are my team, of course. This game is going to be really interesting for multiple facets. First off, the LA Chargers have to travel to New England, which is going to be an early game for them, very much like the Raiders, so that definitely doesn't help them. The Chargers have played good football 3 weeks in a row. The Patriots have played pretty good football, I guess, for 3 weeks in a row, but they played their best game of the season last week against the Falcons at prime time. I think the Patriots are just, too good for the Chargers. I think the Chargers are a good team. I think they'll give them some challenges. It's going to be interesting to see how the Patriots another week in a row cover an elite receiver, because Keenan Allen is elite. He leads the league in 3rd down catches. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with him. But Stephon Gilmore's back, so how much of an upgrade that gives the defense, we will see. As for the Chargers defense versus the Patriots offense, it's going to come down to that defensive line of the Chargers. If they can get pressure on Tom, they got a chance in this game. Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, they combined are on pace for, I think, 18 sacks each, and they have more sacks than 20 teams in the NFL at this current point in time. Just them two by themselves. So the Chargers defense has been pretty good this year. This is the reason why they beat the Broncos. It's the reason why they beat the Raiders. But this week, I don't think it's the reason why they beat the Patriots. I just think the Patriots will be too much. I'll say it will be kind of close. I'll go I think this is another big game for the Patriots defense. I think it's going to be 27-13 Patriots.
Oh, 13. Oh, okay. I'm going with the Patriots. So does AC. I think the offense is going to be a little too much for this game. I want to see how the defense responds. They didn't necessarily play a very motivated team. They played good against the Falcons, but the Falcons, I think, got defeated in the second half. I want to see it against the Chargers team that does have a little bit of explosion going for them. And they scored in some, very weird ways. They got the kickoff return from Benjamin, and his one catch last week was for a touchdown. So that's interesting. He could have a big game. Keenan Allen could have a big game. But I think the Patriots want to win this game, especially at home. And I think the Patriots are going to take this one. I'll say by 10 points. I'll say by 10 points.
Fun fact, the Patriots, although bad defense we've been talking about, they've averaged 12.6 points, allowed 12.6 points per game in the last 3 straight wins. So that's a good sign for the Patriots. The Chargers shut out the Broncos last week, although probably us 3 and AC and 8 other people I could find could have shut out the Broncos last week, to be fair. But I think the Chargers have the ability to score some points, but not enough, I think, to win this game. I will pick a 34-21 win for the Patriots.
By the way, guys, thank you for telling me that the Astros tied up the game. I wasn't watching the baseball game. So.
Oh, the Astros have tied it? Yay.
Yes. Top of the 9th. It's now 3-3. I want to see. I'm going to figure out who scored the run there. But continue.
Okay. The Indianapolis Colts play in Cincinnati to play the Bengals.
We're on to Cincinnati.
This is a game that not a lot of people will be watching. The Bengals, although they have been talented, they are a talented team. They really can't string together victories this season. Rough one against the Steelers. It was kind of close for a majority of the game. Steelers just took it in the long run in the fourth quarter. So this game, they play the Colts. Jacoby Brissett still at the helm for the Colts. Colts just aren't very good. Their defense is atrocious. It's awful. And when Jacoby Brissett plays a good defense, season. He's played the Jaguars last week. They did not score a single point because he was sacked 10 times because no one could block.
It's ridiculous.
They played the Seahawks, and although the game was close for a majority of the time, Brissett kind of broke down and threw some interceptions, and the game got away from them. Simply enough, Brissett isn't good enough to mask the deficiencies of the Colts defense. The Bengals do have a good defense, and I think the Bengals will win this one. They're just strictly more talented. They have the veteran quarterback. They have A.J. Green. Joe Mixon, it'll be interesting to see what he does this week because of what he said in the media, how he wants the ball more, how he thinks he can do more than Le'Veon, all this stuff. But, yeah, I think the consistent thing about the Bengals, their defense has been good. I think that's enough for them to win, and I think it's going to be a 28-16. No, 12. 28-12.
28-12
for the Bengals.
For the Bengals, well, you know what? I'm gonna pick the Colts. I don't pick them often, and I feel it's weird to pick the Colts in this situation, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Colts. I think this should be an interesting game for Jacoby Brissett. I like what now you're doing my thing. Are you doing my thing? Okay. It's a pick. It's just I got a gut feeling. The Bengals play good defense, but against last weekend's Steelers, which yes are a way better team, they were able to score. I think Brissett's going to have this weird big game that people aren't going to expect. There's always that big one upset of the week, and I'm going to pick this as my upset of the week. Going with the Colts.
If the Colts win this game,
I don't see it.
If the Colts win this game, Marvin Lewis, 2 minutes after the game, should be fired.
Not even 20 seconds.
20 seconds. He's just done.
Upset of the week, baby.
The Colts are missing on a terrible defense. They are missing 4 of their best players. Melvin, they're missing Simon, and they're missing Hooker.
Sterling Moore's out there.
The boy.
Yeah. I just don't see that offensively or defensively what the Colts can do to win. And this isn't – I kind of see what Joe Mixon is saying. He probably needs the ball a little bit more. What I saw from that Steelers-Bengals game, when he had the ball, the Bengals were moving it. And that Bengals defense tried to keep him in the game, but the offense was trying to keep them out of the game. So it was quite fascinating. Look, I'm not a big Bengals fan. I'm not a big Marvin Lewis fan right now, but I do think that this is a game that they should win. If not, you fire Marvin Lewis immediately because this is a game you have to win.
Okay. This is the last game that we're taking comments. The last game, we're taking intermission comments. Then we'll go back to the Chicago Bears at the New Orleans Saints. I love the Bears. I love what they're doing, but I love the Saints more. Saints are playing great ball. They are a very versatile offense. I think they're in the top 3 on offense. They can run the ball. They can pass the ball. They have a ton of weapons. Alvin Kamara is the man right now. Ingram is, I would argue if Ingram was on more of a run-heavy team, he would be looked at as, an elite running back. I think he's a very good running back. He has been that for probably 3 years now. But he hasn't really been looked at as like an elite guy, but he is really, really good. And, Kamara compliments him well. And I think Ted Ginn's had 2 back-to-back really good games, seeming to fit in that offense a little bit better now. And Mike Thomas is still there. Drew Brees playing good ball. Their defense is causing turnovers. They're, not allowing points against bad teams, which, they're not a great defense. They're not going to shut down good offenses. But when they play bad offenses that are one-dimensional, like the Bears are, I think they will be able to slow them down. The Bears Trubisky only threw 7 passes last week. He still went over 100 yards, which is amazing. But the Bears, all they do is run some more. I just don't think that game plan, especially on the road against a really good offense that's going to score a lot of points in a dome, is going to be able to win you a game. If this was in Chicago, if this was bad weather, it might be a little bit different, but this is perfect conditions. Drew Brees should be able to throw that rock. The Saints O-line's looking good, and I think the Saints will win this one pretty easily. I do really like that Bears defense. I've been saying that all year, but I just don't think they have what it takes against the Saints.
My exact reaction when I saw Mitchell Trubisky throw 4 completions and win the football game. Right there. That's the face. Dumbfounded. Okay. Yeah, this team didn't really need all that many completions. I think he actually had a very long completion to Cohen as well, so that kind of got most of those yards. But 4 completions, and they won the game basically because of 2, an interception return, pick 6 by Eddie Jackson, and that fumble return for a touchdown by Eddie Jackson. Crazy. I'm still going to go with the Saints. Thank you guys, by the way, for watching Are the Saints Legit video. Over 5,000 views. Thank you. A lot of likes. And Drew Brees threw 2 interceptions, so I guess I was predicting the future. But, I like the Saints a little bit more. I like the high-octane offense and the scoring that this team is giving. The Bears are still not putting up that many points. They only put up 3 points on offense, and I don't think that's going to work against the Saints team. I don't think it's going to work against this particular team. I just like what the Saints are doing more. I think they have a good chance to win the NFC South, so I'm going to go with the Saints in this game. Bears are not going to be able to get it done.
You can make a legitimate argument that the Saints are the 3rd best team in the NFC right now. They are rolling right along very nicely. Unbeaten since they got rid of Adrian Peterson. I'm just putting that out there. Just saying. I'm just saying. I am.
Well, to be fair, they won 2 games before they released him, but
they are unbeaten since they've decided to use Adrian Peterson less. Just saying. Just saying.
That's true.
That's true. That's the correct thing.
Yeah. Just looking, their offenses. Yeah, they're playing a very confident, team, but very confidently right now. What I'm going to be interested in. I mean, if you're looking at the power rankings, the Vikings had trouble with this Bears team, and we were with Mitch Trubisky in the debut, even though it was in Chicago. So this could be a way to put the Saints in a higher standing when you compare them to the Vikings, maybe. But I will pick the Saints here. I just think they've got too many weapons, at this point to be knocked off by the Bears, who will have to throw at least 13 passes to win this game and can't do it.
At least.
Did you know that the only 3 quarterbacks that have only had 7 pass attempts in this era have all been coached by John Fox?
That's actually a false statement because Derek Anderson went 2 of 17 and won a football game.
Okay, well, 3 of the 4.
3 of the 4, yes.
Who coached Anderson now?
I don't know.
That was probably Fox.
Wasn't that Fox? No, he wasn't. He wasn't with Carolina.
No. He must have been on Cleveland.
That must have been a Cleveland.
It must have been Romeo Crennel.
It was 2009. I used to believe that was the Browns. Yeah. All right. Let's get to the comments section. We got a lot of comments. Let's go ahead and get it. Of course, Deshaun Drakeford. A pretty accurate first comment here. Browns will lose again. Yes, of course.
That is pretty much a fact every week.
Ultra 9. I don't know how to pronounce the second name, so I'm just going to call you Ultra. Mitch, who you picking? Patriots, Chargers. You have already given your answer.
I'm picking the Pats. Yeah, I did. I love the Chargers, but they're gonna win the next 2 games. Don't worry. I know Dilly doesn't believe it. They're gonna win.
They're not. Nope. At best, they're winning one of those games.
And I said, what was the score? I said 27-13. Pats.
Okay. And then Deshaun goes, Mitch, who you picking for Chicago and New Orleans? There's your answer, I guess.
New Orleans. I don't think I gave a score. No. I'm gonna say 30-20.
I'm gonna go 28-18.
I'm going to go with 30-13. It's going to be my score. Power rankings, top 5 for Ultra is 1 Eagles, 2 Rams, 3 Patriots, 4 Steelers, 5 Chiefs. What do we think about that?
My right now would be 1 Eagles, 2 Patriots, 3 Steelers, 4 Chiefs. 5 is a struggle between the Hawks and the Vikings.
I would go Eagles, Steelers, Chiefs, Rams, Patriots.
Patriots down to 5. Okay. I would go Eagles, Patriots, Steelers, Chiefs, and I'm going to go with the Rams at 5. I like the Rams at 5. Let's see here. Ultra says this is weird. I have no idea who to pick on the game between the Dolphins and the Ravens, but he's going with the Dolphins, 21-17. Rob with our famous fact or fiction. This is becoming.
Yes, this is going to be a video soon. As soon as I get actual time to make a video, that will be a video.
I remember when you were supposed to do topic videos. Is it time for Baltimore to trade Joe Flacco? It's not a fact or fiction, but this is a
cut his ass.
Yeah, there won't be a team that wants him.
Exactly.
There really wouldn't be. Even if you're Jacksonville,
there won't be because of the contract. I don't know when the contract is up, but they're better off cutting his ass.
He signed a contract in 2013. That was probably a 6-year contract, so it's up in 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they're going nowhere until they get rid of him.
Well, that's what I agree with. I never wanted him to get the contract anyways.
No, he never should have gotten. Well, he should have gotten a contract, but not for that much money.
It was ridiculous. Let's see. Deshaun asked me about the Chiefs Broncos. Just wait till Monday Night Football, buddy. Just wait till Monday Night Football. Bold prediction for the Ravens Fish game. Bold prediction: neither quarterback throws for more than 200 yards. That might be true, actually.
I don't agree. I actually think Matt Moore will throw for 220.
220? Okay.
That's a good prediction, though.
That's something you could believe in. I could. You never know. Fact or fiction? John Harbaugh will be on the hot seat after the season.
He already is.
He already is, but I think where he's going to get a job instantly.
Yeah, he would get a job pretty quickly. Dodgers just walked it off, so.
Oh, too bad.
Wait. Oh no, that's a replay.
Wait. This is a random question. Okay. I'm not sure if we're going to get into this game, which is Falcons-Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Could John Harbaugh be the next coach of the Falcons?
Wow, that'd be interesting. No.
I would
I
say
don't
there'd
think
be a better chance of him being a coach in a few other
Dallas.
places. Dallas, Arizona,
Arizona.
not San Francisco, Detroit.
Maybe.
By the way, I got
Washington?
confused because Justin Turner.
Washington.
Washington would be interesting.
Giants?
Indy.
There's a few places that would want him. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of John Harbaugh, to be honest with you.
I've always been a fan of his coaching.
He's 75 hit, 25% miss. That's how I feel. That's how I feel about him. Is Kessler starting, says Rob? No, he is not. I believe Kaiser's still the quarterback, which is interesting.
Does it matter at this point?
It doesn't really matter.
It does, bro. It always matters. It's the Browns, baby. Rams channel taking it way too seriously. And pretty false. Hugh Jackson isn't going to get fired until the end of the season, says Bodo.
No, of course not.
Of course not. And by the way, we're going into extra innings in the baseball game. Let's see here. Next comment. Ultra says Raiders are confident after Kansas City, so the Raiders are going to win the game 27-17. It's interesting. Let's see here. Trying to find a good one, boys. Trying to find a good one.
Apparently, you called Jordan Hicks Aaron Hicks.
Did I say Jordan Hicks?
His name's Jordan Hicks.
I called him Aaron Hickston. Okay, yeah. Again, that's the fuck up.
You gotta respond to those comments.
Actually, I only got one. I got one, but he corrected. He didn't act like an asshole when he said it. So I was like, okay.
I don't know. I just got a comment that say that did this N-word just call Jordan Hicks Aaron Hicks.
Oh, very nice, very nice. The one that I saw earlier, he just said Aaron Hicks, and I was like, I like the mess up. I was like, okay. You didn't need to call me the
I told you those Eagles fans would be clicking on the vid.
Well, shit, I fuck up one time, Saints 45.
Hold on, I'm going to need to call you out and correct you on something here.
Okay.
Mr. Michael Crabtree leading the league in touchdowns.
He is.
He's got
7.
Why does NFL.com say 6?
It might be 6, but he's still leading the league in touchdowns.
He's tied with DeAndre Hopkins and Jordy Nelson.
I think Hopkins has 5.
It says 6 according to NFL.com.
420. Hold on.
It says that Crabtree, Hopkins, and Nelson are tied with 6.
I saw it on Instagram.
I saw it on Instagram too. That's why I had it.
I can't find it now.
I don't know which.
Instagram is an NFL.com.
No, it was like
he's tied for
NFL's,
first, which is kudos to him.
Still correct, damn it. It's somewhere. Let me check NFL Network. Is it? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's tied with 6.
It is 6. Okay,
but he's first on the list.
Yeah.
Because it was in alphabetical order. So, yeah.
Still.
Hey, baby, still number 1, baby. Let's go, baby. He had that 3 touchdown game, but he's still 6 touchdowns. Let's see here. Fact or fiction? The Saints win the NFC South.
Fact.
As of right now,
fact.
Cold, hard fact.
I think that's a fact because all the other teams are struggling. Let's see here. Fact or fiction? Ravens finish 7-9.
Fiction.
They'll be 6-10.
I predicted earlier this season.
At best 4-12. No, 5-11. No,
at
sorry.
Best.
At best 5-11. At best 5-11.
I predicted
so they'll win 2 games at best.
I predicted them.
When do they play? They play Browns again?
Yeah, they got to play Browns once, so that's a guaranteed win.
That's a win.
I predicted at the beginning of the season they were going to go 6-10. I will stick to 6-10. Good one on me.
I said 7-9. I don't remember.
We got a chat. We got a channel that says Mitch, I love you. Says suck my dick. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Okay, all right. Wow, we just have some weird shit. We have another channel.
Is it Arian again?
Don't read those comments. Just ignore them. They're trying to pay you.
No, I just wanted to read one. I just read it where we want. Fact or fiction? 7-9 wins the AFC South. Fiction. I think
AFC South fiction.
I think Houston will go.
AFC South, I will say 10-6 wins the division.
Altuve hit a solo home run in the top of the 10th, so Houston's up. That's good. Will the Falcons offense be getting back on track? It's a question. It's not a fact or fiction, but it's a question. I will say no.
No.
No?
Nope.
Okay. Mitch, is anything?
What?
Will the Falcons offense be getting back on track?
What does that mean?
Will they be getting back to making the playoffs? That's the question. I would think.
Maybe.
Back on track for them was 30 points. So
no. Okay, well, okay, Kev.
They'll get better, I think, but they won't be. They won't be like they were last year, even close.
And it's 5-3. Carlos Correa just hit a solo home run, so they're killing.
And what I mean by getting better, their offense will get better.
All right, that is comments for intermission. We are going back to picks.
Okie dokie, artichoke. All right.
Haven't heard of
Atlanta Falcons.
Krampus
in New York to play the Jets. Jets. This is the second straight East Coast game for Atlanta. They played New England on Sunday night, as we know. They play the Jets. The Jets absolutely blew it against the Miami Dolphins. I did the cash that Josh McCown was paid to throw that interception directly to the defensive back to set up Miami in perfect scoring position. So if you picked Miami last week, you should be saying thank you, Town. This week, this is a tough one, really tough one. This is one of the toughest ones to pick. I look at Atlanta, and I think their defense is a lot better than people give it credit for. I mean, they've played all year. They've played pretty solid. They even played decent against the Patriots. I think against the Jets, they should be able to kind of slow them down, and the Jets shouldn't really be able to go the length of the field all game. Atlanta's really quick defensively. They have a couple good pass rushers, so that's going to be an interesting side of the ball to watch. The questions I have is about Atlanta's offense and more of not even their offense, but like their external. Like, how are they in the head right now? Like, are they just beating themselves already, or are they prepared to play this game? Is Dan Quinn getting them ready to play this game? Talent-wise, they should win this game. And a lot of me wants to say, that they are going to be ready. They're going to be back this week to a certain degree. I like what Mohamed Sanu gave them. That was one of the only positives I really saw from the Patriots game. They didn't have him the last couple games before that. It's interesting. It's tough. I don't know how much of that Sunday night game was the Patriots, and I don't know how much of that game was the Falcons. So for me, I want to go with the Jets because I just don't know about the Falcons. But I've picked the Jets a couple weeks in a row, and they've disappointed. So I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons and just hope that they get a bounce back. I think this game's going to be really close. But I think at the end of the day, the Falcons realize they need to win this game. And I think that they know that, and Dan Quinn knows he's going to be in some big shit if he loses. So I'm going to go Atlanta here. And I'm going to say they win by a field goal.
If the Falcons lose, their season's over. That's how I predict it here. They need to save their season. They've been looking like utter shit. They were 3-0, now they're 3-3. Their confidence has been lost. Dan Quinn needs to get the troops into it, get it back into shape, at least shape of trying to win football games and try to be a wild card team, because I think a better team in their division is going to win the division. So in this game, I think it's going to be interesting to see how they respond, how the Jets respond to Josh McCown throwing one of the worst interceptions this season. Rivaling, can I say that correctly? Rivaling Blake Bortles in terms of how interceptions are thrown. I'm going to go with the Falcons. There's too much talent on this team. Even in a struggle to beat this Jets team. Like, if it was a better team, I would not pick the Falcons, but it's the Jets, and I just don't trust Josh McCown in this situation. I'm going to go with the Falcons, but they need to win. They absolutely need to win.
Fun fact, the second best completion percentage in the National Football League is Josh McCown at 69.2%.
That's depressing.
He threw a terrible interception.
Awful.
But
killed their season.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. Their season wasn't alive.
No, but they were. If they won that game, they would have been 4-3, Kev. They would have at least had some hope.
They still have hope, I think, in some cases, and I don't know if they really want to be in the playoffs or not. Whole other topic. I guess there's two ways to look at this from the Falcons. Either this team was so hyped and focused their entire energy to beat the Patriots that they are too drained to really compete with the Jets, mentally drained, which I think that they are. Or this is a bonding moment that they spent a time on the East Coast playing two East Division teams, and they unify together. You know what? I don't like the Falcons. I'm not a big fan of this team, but they still have a chance to win the NFC South, and we're going to get into why in a little bit with a couple of other teams. But I look at this, if they can win this game, they're back on the path of getting the South. They're not going to be this offensive juggernaut. They don't seem to have they don't have an offensive. It sounds weird to say this about the Atlanta Falcons, but I don't think they have an offensive identity. I don't think they run the ball appropriately. I don't think they use Julio Jones appropriately. How does the guy have one touchdown? You guys say he's better than Doug Baldwin.
He is.
He is.
But he has one. No. But just think about this for a second. I'm not saying that he's not better than Doug Baldwin, but he has one touchdown. One touchdown. There's a problem there. You're not seeing a problem.
How many does Baldwin have?
I'm not saying that. No, stop I'm not saying damn. Get that stupid thing off. Get that guy off.
The record of one of the best albums.
My problem, and I said this at the beginning of the year, Steve Sarkisian was going to be, and Matt Ryan were not.
Trying to match this.
Everybody that was smart, that realized what the Falcons' offense was last year, knew that they weren't going to be the same offense.
No, okay. I know that, but I do think that they have some talent there. It's just there's a lot of other mental things going on there that just hesitates me. I'm picking the Falcons, I think 23-20, but what's really going to be interesting is what happens if they lose this game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's going to be.
I do want to give a shout out. Desmond Trufant is a really good player. Just want to say that.
Oh, by the way, this has nothing to do with our picks. But if you're coming over here to dislike our video, you're you have no.
Oh, people have done that many times.
We're getting spam right now, and I just think you have no life. It's pretty pointless.
Oh, we are.
Yeah, we have 5 likes and 11 dislikes from one dude. So thank you very much. You're wasting your time, and you're giving us more money. So thank you very much. You're pathetic. Let's go on to the next game.
Oh, it's the Sigas guy again. Okay, next game, 49ers at Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles.
I love how last week it was I don't know, the 49ers could beat the Cowboys, and then it was just Eagles. That's how it is. Eagles are going to win this game. No question about it. Even with the injuries that they got, 2 season-ending injuries, 49ers do not have enough talent. Eagles are the best team in football.
So what happens if the Eagles lose? What do we do with that?
The answer is they won't lose.
What happens if they lose?
If they lose, they are demoted by 7 slots.
If they lose this game, which they won't, this will be a pretty pathetic way to be put on the 2-loss column. Very pathetic.
Okay, I want to say this though. about why was it last week? It was this one. The Cowboys weren't good until last week, according to the Nation. Okay, everyone's back on the Cowboys bandwagon.
I still don't think the Cowboys are that good.
DJ Beathard to beat the Cowboys.
Okay, bro. The Eagles are what, 6-1? The Cowboys were what, 2-3 last week?
No, I'm just saying it didn't even matter with the Eagles team. I just found it funny that it was just like, oh,
no, that's the difference. 6-1 versus 2-3. That's the difference. That's why we talked about the game last week in the way that we did, because we weren't sure. This week it's different because it's 6-1.
Oh yeah, okay. Guess 30 points to change that difference, but it's all good. All good.
I don't know. I don't know
if you get it. Kevin, do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. This
okay. No, it's not even that you picked the Eagles over the 49ers. That's not what I'm saying.
No. It's not that. You're saying that I didn't pick the Cowboys. Well, the Cowboys, it's because they weren't good before that game. But now, all of a sudden, they're good.
I didn't even say they're great. What I'm saying is that it's just I find it funny. I just find it funny. Continue.
What I'm saying is they were 2-3 before that game. Now they're 3-3. The Eagles are 6-1, and after this game, they're either going to be 7-1 or 6-2.
Well, you just pointed out a statement. I don't know if that changes.
You don't get it? Okay, never mind.
No,
I
just find it funny you picked the.
I'm picking the Eagles. But I just asked the question, what happens if they do lose this game? I'm not saying that they will lose this game. I'm saying what happens if they do. And what if this game is close? What I think this is one of those ones. I will say this. I think this is a trap game for the Eagles. This has the potential to not derail their season.
I guess, but like against the 49ers.
Other than last week, they've been in pretty much every game that they play.
Yeah, but CJ Beathard in that game was brutal. Like, brutal.
Yeah, I know. I don't think that they're going to win, but it is a trap game for the Eagles. I think that's.
I can understand why you would say that.
I'm not saying the Eagles.
If it was against the Bears, we might be saying this is a trap game. This is the 49ers we're talking about. That's why I'm saying that.
Are they going back to Ware or Beathard? Does anyone know?
What's that?
Beathard, I think.
They're going Beathard.
Beathard.
I think you're giving him his chance. Yeah. Okay, next game, Carolina Panthers at Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, I got
a really tough.
Wait. No, Mitch, can you talk about football? Like, make a football comment, like just a general football comment. Like,
Panthers play the same defense as the Bills. That's what I was gonna say.
What is he doing?
He's doing the Cam Newton.
Oh.
That's what Cam did when he was asked. Okay, I don't know why he freaked out.
What happened?
Okay, the guy asked. Okay, and the guy was trying to protect himself too. You notice that? Like, he's like, oh, you might freak out about this. So he was like, do you think this offense will be able to be good? Basically. Like he said, I know you guys were good against the Patriots and the Lions, but do you think you're going to consistently be good? Is basically the question. Okay. And he was like, basically.
Cam is a whiner. That's all he does, bro. He's not his media record, I think, is 0-3 this season. He has not had a good media record. The fact
Kevil's,
that
I can't hear Kev.
Kev, I cannot hear you. I think he fessed up. I think he cares more about the after game, like what he dresses in, than he cares about the actual game of football. Like, I think that's almost legit.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
What the hell happened? Okay, hang on.
You're good now, Kev.
Puig hit a home run. Now it's 5-4.
Okay, anyways, I was just gonna say Panthers play the same defense as the Bills, but is Kuechly playing?
I believe he's out. I have to check that.
Okay, that's big. I want to go. I'm gonna pick the Bucs. They're at home. I like what I saw offensively from them in Buffalo. They're back at home. The Panthers, I did not like what I saw from them offensively last week. Their offensive line, they're traveling on the road. Like I always say, offensive lines don't travel well. I think the Bucs should be able to get some decent pressure on them. Their injured guys are back, which has helped them out. I think the Panthers haven't been able to really run the ball consistently. They rely too much on their quarterback. Their defense is without their leader. I look at this game. I think this is going to be the Bucs one to win. They've been playing better as of late, and I think that they will take it. I've also liked what I've seen from Jameis recently, and I think Doug Martin has given them a little bit something extra on offense. Actually, the Bucs, surprisingly enough, lead the NFL per game in passing yards.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting.
So I'm going with the Bucs, Kev.
Okay, so Ian Rappaport reported that Kuechly practiced today, but he still has to still pass the concussion protocol.
Okay, he'll probably play then, but I'm still going to go with the Bucs. I just like what I've seen from them recently against the Bills, and they gave away the game. They should have won that game. So yeah, still going with the Bucs.
And the NFL's official Twitter said he is on pace to play the weekend. I think in this game, the Bucs have struggled mightily. You can see in their record of 2-4, which I was not predicting that was going to be the case. I thought there was going to be a 1 in front of that 2 by the end of the year. I'm going to go with the Bucs though. This is an interesting game for the Buccaneers. The Panthers have been really off, very, 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 very off. With a couple of games that I thought maybe they could have won, should have won. That Eagles game, I think they kind of threw away. Even if the Eagles did play really well, you can clearly tell Cam Newton's 3 interceptions were pretty bad. One of them was off the running back, but regardless of that, they got to come in here. This is a division battle, it's a division battle. So I'm going to go with the Bucs. I think this is a big game for them, and they need to stay alive. If they want to stay alive in this division, get somewhere behind. They're only 2 games back, which is not too far away right now for their grasp. Jameis Winston needs a good game. I'm going to go with the Bucs.
They still play the Saints twice, right?
Yeah, they'll play the Saints next week, and week 17. And they'll play the Falcons. They'll also play the Falcons twice. And they'll play the Panthers one more time after this. So they got all their division matchups.
Massive game.
Yeah, they got all their division matchups starting this week. So
weird. I don't know.
I can hear you now.
Okay, you can hear me now. Okay. I'm picking the Bucs here as well. I'm liking their offense. I think their defense is not great, but I don't know how as a team you can trust Cam Newton anymore. Quite frankly, 7 giveaways in 2 games. You've got Christian McCaffrey. It's averaging 2.5 yards per carry.
It's been one of the most disappointing rookie seasons this year.
By the way, thank you, Ruben, for taking him off my hands in fantasy trade. I appreciate that.
Nice.
For Jeffrey and Kohan, thank you. That was a great trade for me. And I look at this. I mean, I'm not completely sold on the Bucs, but I think they're going to do enough here to win this game at home. I think they're going to turn it around. I just don't know what to expect from Carolina anymore.
Wait, what do you guys this is a comment that we got in here, but I want to point this out. What do you guys think about TJ Ward's comments that he said this?
I didn't hear them. What did he say?
He's complaining about playing time. He says he's not there to be a part-timer.
Well, he got cut by the Broncos. So
he thinks that the money that the Bucs gave him is justifiable to be on there every snap. That's what he's saying.
I don't know. Maybe he's too old.
Too old.
Well, obviously the coaches disagree with that.
A reason why.
There's a reason for that.
Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you guys. I just was putting that out there. It could. Yeah, I don't know.
He may have lost his speed. That might be something.
Yeah.
It is interesting that Denver cut him.
Yeah.
We also have a comment from Donald Trump who says, will we see old Kev today?
Ooh, old man.
Who knows?
We have still yet to see any characters today. What's going on?
Oh, actor fell asleep for Cam because he's just so boring. What do you talk about?
True.
All right. The Houston Texans go to Seattle to play the Seahawks. Kevo.
Let's start with Houston. No, let's start with Seattle. They came. I think their most complete of a performance as they have had this season. 35 minutes of possession, left some points on the table for sure. A couple of key drop passes from 8-8. Their offensive line played pretty well. Probably their best game of the season. So overall, offensively, their best game of the season. And overall, I would say their best game of the season, even defensively. 177 yards for the Giants. Evan Ingram had a solid game. Tight ends seem to be playing okay against the Seahawks. But I think that they are right now turning a corner. This was my Super Bowl pick, though. I picked the Houston Texans to play the Seattle Seahawks. But I'm not saying that this proves that it's not going to happen. I think there's a lot of weapons in Houston. I think that Deshaun Watson can give a lot of trouble, but he's also a rookie and comparable to Cam. Cam hasn't done all that great in Seattle over the years. He's had 2 good games over the time he's played against the Seattle, and one he almost kind of blew in a playoff game. So that's one comparable that I had off the top of my head. The problem that Deshaun Watson is going to face is Richard Sherman has been the least targeted cornerback in the league. So he's not even going to look at Sherman. If you're going to go on the other side, Shaq Griffin and Justin Coleman are just playing very well. And then you go up the middle, you got Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor. I just don't see where Houston is going to score enough points to win this game. I see this being a 18-13 game, kind of a weird low-scoring game for the Seahawks. So I'll pick the Seahawks 18-13.
Is that all field goals?
That could be like a two-point conversion.
13? No.
Yeah, no, you can get a touchdown at a 2-point conversion.
13 would be 1 touchdown, 2 field goals.
2 field goals.
Yeah.
Okay.
18 is pretty much all field goals, unless some wacky shit happens. But
there could be a safety in there, and that's what
Okay, I was just curious. That's why I was wondering the 18.
Also, I think the other thing to look out for offensively before you predict, I don't think that the Texans secondary is going to be handle the speed of Lockett and Richardson very well. Because if you watch that game against the Kansas City, there was a lot of wide open receiving on that. And I think Lockett and Richardson are going to have good games against Houston.
Okay, so this game I think is going to be very interesting. It's going to be probably one of the games of the week. I'm looking forward to seeing what both teams are going to provide here. With the Texans, they had those 2 big injuries on the defensive side. That's gonna hurt them later on. It might impact their season. But I look at the offensive side. Will Fuller's been back for 3 games and he has 5 touchdowns, which is almost the league right now.
He's behind Crabtree.
He's very close to Crabtree, yeah. And Hopkins is tied for the lead with Crabtree and Nelson. So those 2 guys have been heavy targets for
the Hulksters.
He's been heavy targets for Deshaun Watson, which is a good thing. I think those guys are going to get a lot of receptions here. It'll be interesting to see how Watson will play this defense. It'll be interesting with the Seahawks. I'm not very high on the Seahawks, just in the same way both these guys aren't high on the Cowboys, and that's fine. I had the defense I'm not high on, but they have one. They played the Giants last week. Wasn't very high on that game. They did play their best game, put together game this season. I will say that much. But I just don't think they have that credibility right now with them. And they could get it later on, and they could get it with this game. So I want to see how this game provides. But I'm going to go with the Texans. I think Deshaun Watson is going to throw 2 touchdowns to Will Fuller and 1 touchdown to Hopkins for the victory. 21-17 is my prediction for this game.
Okay, so when I initially looked at this game, I was feeling it. I was gonna go with the Texans, but ultimately I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. I've been saying, the Seahawks are in my top 5. I don't think that the Texans are quite in that category where I believe they can win the Super Bowl. At the same time, I think there is a chance, although I think it is small, that the Seahawks can win the Super Bowl. I think this game is in Seattle. That's huge. Deshaun Watson and that team's going to have to travel on the road. And I overall haven't loved what I've seen from this Texans defense this season. I know they lost two of their best guys, and that's huge, obviously, and two of the best players on defense in the entire league. I think that does hurt them in this game. I think with those guys, they could potentially ruin the game and kind of take over the game and beat the Seahawks. But without those guys, it's just Jadeveon Clowney. And I think the Seahawks D-line O-line should be able to focus on him a little bit. They'll still get pressure, and I think it will still be a defensive game. But like Kev said, I think they have some good matchups. Jimmy Graham is going to cause a lot of trouble for the Texans. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, the Seahawks probably won't be able to run in this game. They haven't been able to run well this season, but Texans should be taking that away pretty well. The other side of things, I agree with a lot of what Kev said in terms of matchups, but I think that the Seahawks, one question, how are they going to do without Cliff Averill? That's huge. What's the rotation going to look like? Is the pressure going to be the same? That's going to be big. How do they contain Watson? Typically, the Seahawks do well with those sort of mobile quarterbacks. They're a very fast team. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what Watson does through the air, because Watson is in a scheme where he's been throwing a lot of deep balls. I think he's in the top 3 with Brady, and I can't remember who the other guy is. But he's in the top 3 for attempted passes down the field. And with the Seahawks, it's going to be interesting to see. They really play a defense where it makes you kind of throw the ball underneath and take your time and go down the length of the field. So is that young quarterback going to be able to do that? He might at certain points in the game. But I just think when it comes down to it, the Seahawks are a team that I believe in. I don't necessarily believe in the Texans as an elite team. And I think that the matchups are in Seahawks' favor with them being at home. So I think they're going to win a game that's going to be defensive. I'll say 20-16 Seahawks. Get it done.
Kev, by the way, Dodgers just tied up the game. So this has been
I saw your face. I knew.
It's a crazy game, too. It's now by 5-5.
Also, something else to consider, Dylan, in your predicting, Seahawks have give up the third least amount of explosive plays in the NFL. So you have to basically bunt to win. And I don't think that Deshaun Watson.
Well, I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be a decently scoring game. I don't think it's going to be that high out. I predicted 21-17.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to get a couple of drives where they just get everything clicking, and they'll get a touchdown from Fuller or Hopkins. That's what I feel as. So.
That's okay. You can pick the Texans. I understand, but
I'm the only person here to pick the Texans this week. So it's all good.
Okay, Dilly. It's the Cowboys. It's the Redskins. Break it down.
Okay. So it's good intro music. Okay, so Cowboys played the 49ers last week. Again, this wasn't a big game for us. I think it was going to be a pretty easy win, unlike these two guys. But the Cowboys won in pretty dominant fashion, 40-10. I love what the defense brought. They got 3 interceptions, and I believe 1 fumble as well. It might have been 2. I'm not 100% sure. But the defense played solidly. Zeke went off, and we're going to have him for at least 1 more week, which helps the decision in this game. With the Redskins, they played the Eagles last week, and for a quarter and a half, they got something going, and then all the dysfunction went out the room when the Eagles just kind of went into them. Now it's a big matchup in Washington. I think injuries are going to play a big key here. Josh Norman's still hurt. Offensive line concerns. This team's banged up, and I don't think they have what it is right now. The Cowboys are going to go out here. They need to win this game. If they do, they're 4-3, and they're going to play the Chiefs and the Falcons the next 2 games. Which you say the Falcons, I don't know, but they could be better by that point. So the Chiefs is going to be a hard game for sure. You need to go out here and be 4-3 to compete for that division with the Eagles, because we're still going to have to face them 2 times later on in the season, week 10 and 17. I think the Cowboys' offense certainly showed last week why they are capable.
Bayless said they're going to win the NFC East, go to the Super Bowl.
I've always hated Skip, and no, I don't.
Did he just say this recently though, or
Yes.
I don't have.
He said at the beginning of the year that they're going to face the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and just recently he said they're going to win the NFC East.
This is what I predicted at the beginning of the season. Everybody can check. I had the Cowboys as a wild card team, and
that's fair. But I'm just saying Skip Bayless is good.
Well, Skip Bayless can just stop commenting. He's awful. I could say worse.
What it could be. It could be true. You never know.
Well, he's a fake Cowboys fan, but
fake. He worked for the team.
Oh, so when he tweeted out
more legitimate.
No, there's an actual tweet.
Than you.
No, there's an actual tweet from his ad Twitter account like 8 years ago, and he said, "I've never been a real Cowboys fan," and then comes back here. So, I'm going to predict this game to be a pretty interesting one with some high scoring. I'm going to go 30-24. I think the Cowboys will lead a last-minute drive. Dak will get it done. We did sign a kicker, so Jeff Heath will not have to be the kicker this week. Good. Mike Nugent is going to be the kicker, who I like. He's a good kicker. Not Young Ho Koo, whatever.
Thank God they didn't sign him, or they'd automatically lose 27-24.
I was going to be pissed if we had signed Koo. I would have been like, no. I think the advantage of having Elliott in this particular game is going to be a big one, and I think the injuries of the Redskins are going to be too much. Cowboys will win this game.
Kevil.
I think, first of all, Cowboy fans, I know you beat the San Francisco 49ers handily in San Francisco, but not Dylan, but calm down. It's one game. And I think it's going to be really interesting what happens when Zeke is gone. I think that's going to be a huge problem. Not this week, though, because
Alfred Morris has got burst. I just had to say that.
Yeah.
He's going to do something, bro.
Listen, where's that face for that comment?
He's going to do something. I'm telling you. He's not going to be Zeke level, but shit, he's going to do something, bro. I'm telling you that. You're telling me.
Bash me for mine and let yours go.
I didn't say he's better than Elliott. I didn't say he's better than Elliott.
I never said Baldwin was better than Jones. Anyway, there is a lot I really do not like about the Washington Redskins. Offensively, their wide receivers specifically are very weak. Running back wise, I don't even think that they're all that Washington tradition. Chris Thompson is a third down back that they're having to use in first and second down situations. He's dynamic, I guess, in a sense. But I don't think that that's the way Washington wants to play. They need to run the ball. They can't run the ball. I'm sorry. I don't think that this defense, while maybe people think is good, I haven't seen him make a key stop at a key time for the team yet this year. And I think Jay Gruden is one of those guys that I think is a bit of an overrated coach and an overrated play caller, quite frankly. And so I think that this is one I think the Cowboys will win rather handily. I'm going to go 30-20 here.
Yeah, there it is.
I'm picking the Cowboys too. I know that Dylan's going to be shocked.
What? Huh?
There's a lot of. I just look at it and I think there's just too many question marks about the Redskins right now. I thought they had a chance to win that game. I didn't pick them to win that game last week, but I thought they had a legitimate chance to win, and it never really seemed like they did. And I think a lot of flaws came up in that game. You look at their offense. I think it's more about their offense, quite honestly. I think their offense relies too much on their quarterback, and now their offensive line is banged up. You look at this injury report. Holy moly, it's freaking insane. They have like 20 guys on this injury report. It's like half their offensive line, their defense, their offense. There's too many questions in that regard in terms of injuries. I do think this game is going to be different from you guys, though. I think this is actually going to be one with defense. I think this is going to be a defensive game. I look at it I could see why you think it's going to be offensive. And just in my opinion, I look at it and I kind of see, I think the Cowboys defense is going to play a good game here. I think they're going to get after Kirk Cousins because of partly in those injuries and partly because I think they're going to do enough in the secondary with Sean Lee hopefully back at linebacker where they can kind of scheme to take away Jordan Reed and kind of, play some good defense, hold the Redskins to some field goals. And I think that the Redskins defense, they've been really good against the run this year. At times, their pass defense hasn't been great. A lot of that's without Josh Norman. I think Josh Norman should play this week, which I think should hold Dez in check. Dez will still get his somewhat, but I think he'll hold him in check. And when they hold Dez in check, they're able to focus on that run game, and then it makes the Cowboys go somewhere else. I think for the Cowboys, a big thing is going to be, first off, if they can't run the ball, how are they going to do? They will be able to run the ball with some success, but if they're not having a huge game like they did against the 49ers, how are they doing on those third down and longs and in those situations? And I think that's a key for the Redskins, is stopping that run. And for the Cowboys, it's obviously getting after Kirk Cousins, not letting him run outside the pocket is going to be big. I think that the defensive ends that have improved for the Cowboys are going to be a big reason why they win. I'm going to say it's going to be 24-21 for the Cowboys, a slightly more defensive than you guys think, but I think they're going to pull it out. I just see too many issues with the Redskins at this point. Even though I really like them as a team when they're healthy and when they're, good to go, just too much. I just think too much, and this is a huge game in this division. The Cowboys do win this one in impressive fashion. I think it's going to up them in my power rankings, and either way, if the Redskins win, I think it will be big for them too. But this is definitely a massive game either way for wild card or even NFC East winner potential here.
I got 3 comments real quick. 3 comments.
Yeah.
1, DeMarcus Lawrence is second in the NFL with 9.5 sacks through 6 games. So good shit. 2, David Irving being there since he came back a couple weeks ago has been big. And to your comment about injury report, 13 people are on the.
That's where I looked at it this morning. I was like, what the fuck?
Jonathan Allen is on the IR, so we're not even going to count him. But there's 12 other people on this injury report.
Did you see that GIF of SpongeBob?
Which one?
Where it's like the one with the list, and it like goes down, and then it goes like, yeah, that's the Redskins injury report.
Bro, it's ridiculous. I'm looking over here, and it's like, Sheriff is hurt, Cravens is out, Moses, Long, Foster. What the fuck is this? like it told me, like with it shows me like the amount of people, and then for the Redskins, it's like full injury report. Like you're only allowed to show half of it. I'm like, shit. So there you go.
Although it looks like Tyron Smith didn't practice this week. That's kind of big.
Tyron Smith is questionable, it says on this report. And
that doesn't mean he won't play, though.
Well, he didn't practice today, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that are giving their vets maintenance days now.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
No. That is big, though, if it happens. That is big.
Okay. Steelers, Lions.
Steelers. Launch.
Sunday Night Football. This is an interesting matchup for Sunday Night Football. One NFC, one AFC team, both from the north.
From the north.
Bye week, the Lions. The Steelers are going to win. I think Golden Tate is not going to play, so that's huge.
Wait, he's not going to play?
No, he's been out. He has a major injury. I'm pretty sure he's not playing.
Oh, shit.
So that's absolutely huge because he's the big playmaker for that offense. He is that guy. He is the Allen, the Edelman. He is that sort of guy. And I think without him, it puts a lot more stress on those other receivers, and which I think already lack a lot of talent in that regard. And I look at the Steelers' defense has played really, really well. They are playing a really talented quarterback this week, which they haven't faced, but without his number one weapon. The Steelers' defense is good. They'll stop the run of the Lions, which isn't that good. And the defense of the Lions, although they've forced turnovers at times, I don't think they'll have that capability in this game because I think it's going to be a lot of Le'Veon Bell. And I think it's going to be Le'Veon Bell. They'll get enough stops to win this game, and I think the Steelers will pull it out. I'll say 26-16 for the Steelers.
All right, by the way, Astros hit a 2-run home run. So, again, this has been a banger World Series.
Holy banger.
This is a World Series banger right now, wherever I'm trying to watch the game, but whatever. The injury report for the Detroit Lions, although not long, is not good. Ziggy Ansah is questionable. Golden Tate is questionable, but you said he has a big injury. And Kenny Golladay is questionable. So that's not very good for Detroit. For Pittsburgh, honestly, Martavius Bryant can just like leave the NFL, please, because he's being a dick. Juju Smith-Schuster is becoming better than him, and he's going over here on Instagram shading him. Oh, he's not better than me, and stealing his bike. I don't know that one's true or not, but he's getting mad about that. He's been demoted to the practice squad. The practice squad, or the what do you call it? There's a certain word for it. I'll figure it out later. But yeah, he's not going to play. I just think he's a dick. But in any case, I'm still going to pick the Steelers. I think this is a good game for them. They've been on a roll lately with some good wins. And they're getting a lot more. They were really heated, after that Jacksonville game. But I think they've calmed their tensions. They're finally starting to have some fun football, and I think they're going to be able to do so against the Lions on Sunday Night Football, who I don't think since the Sunday Night Football creation of 2006 for NBC, I don't think they've ever won a Sunday Night Football game, if I'm not mistaken. So, because I did that video before the season, I'm gonna go with the Steelers. I think there's some good things in here, and should be a good victory for them.
You listen here, you youngins out there.
Oh no!
You listen here. I want to talk about bicycles.
Bicycles, okay.
Bicycles.
Scout teams.
Back in 1902, we had a bicycle. We just put it out on the street there, and everyone in the town protected the bicycle. Not these days. You put that kind of thing out there, and in some guy with the name of a Juju Shoo. What kind of name is Juju Shoo anyway? Who named their kids Juju and Shoo? Come on. Back in my day, we had great names like the Kevin and the Dylan and the Mitchell. Those are names.
Yes, that's
Mommies and daddies out there. Those are names.
What do you think of these names like Fiddy, Trent?
What is your
and AC? He doesn't even have he doesn't even have 3 letters in his AC.
AC.
An AC.
Air conditioner.
What calls himself air conditioner? What's an air conditioner? And a Fiddy. Is he 50? 50? Is he the age of 50? Why don't I know what he's doing there? And where's that other young man? Where's that Anthony young man there? You, Tony. Maybe you should know some Tony. Where's that man?
Tony.
But anyway, back to the bike for the JoJo Shoo. You bring that bike back to that Bryant young boy right now, or I'm going to get my paddle and do a whipping on you. I'm going to do a whipping. That's what we do back in 1902. We whip people that do these kind of things. That's what we do. Yes.
All right, thank you, old man. Old man had a couple things to say about some channel members, about Juju, about Brian, about the bicycles. Kobe, that was nice to hear from him.
Thank you, Kobe Football. Thank you very much for subscribing. Just said he subbed, so thank you very much. There's your shout out. Juju, Shushu. We got to talk to this.
Kevol, who are you picking?
I am picking the Pittsburgh Steelers because the Pittsburgh Steelers are playing good football, and the Detroit Lions are not able to provide us a wide receiver running back. And I just think the Steelers are right now a stronger team. I want to make this point. If we go with our predictions, the Vikings win and the Lions lose, the Packers are still in second place in that division. I'm just putting that out there.
Go Bears.
The Vikings will win. I think this will be the second easiest division win right now. I'm sorry.
What's the easiest?
But you know what? My whole point is it's how bad that the Lions and the Bears may be that is going to keep Green Bay in this. And no one has said that Aaron Rodgers is officially out for the year. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah, I would be scared. I would be putting them away.
No, they're done.
NFC teams?
You got to put the Packers.
You let the Packers in the playoffs, y'all in trouble. I'm just saying. Don't let 12 in the playoffs. I'm just saying.
I don't want him in the playoffs. He fucks us over too many damn times.
Well, you guys got to make it first, so hold on there.
Yeah. I'll make it, buddy. Make it over here. Packers ain't making
over here. We're okay, but you.
Oh no, Kevin.
Okay, Broncos, Chiefs, Monday Night Football. I'm going with the Chiefs. I just think they're the better team. I've been on the Broncos, been on the Broncos. I still believe in that defense, but
I thought Simeon was taking the next step up, man. What happened?
He was after week 2 when he shredded that Cowboy defense up. But
That's
yeah, I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. He thinks he's Aaron Rodgers. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He thinks he's Superman. He can't do it. He can do it. He's not that type of quarterback. Let your team win it. Let your team play to its strengths. They don't do that. Right now, they can't run the football. Their receivers, Emmanuel Sanders, his go-to guy is injured. I'm not sure if he's playing this week. And that was big last week. They didn't score a point against the Chargers. The Chargers defense is a lot better than the Chiefs. A lot better. I'm sorry. Chiefs defense is not good. It's not good. It's the reason why they've lost 2 games now. I think this is going to be kind of a little bit better for the Broncos offense. They'll be able to move the ball because the Chiefs just allow yards. But I just think the Chiefs, the way their offense is playing, it will be enough. Because they're still explosive. They're able to get the ball to their playmakers. They're creative. Andy Reid's great in that regard. They can run, they can pass. But their defense is still a huge question mark. But I don't think it will really come up in this game because the Broncos are so inept and their defense and their offensive line is so bad that I think at times the Chiefs, when they need it on 3rd and long, will get after the passer and will sack the quarterback. So I'm going to say the Chiefs win this one. I'll say it's going to be 27-14.
In the 3 games the Broncos have lost, Trevor Siemian has thrown 35, 50, and 40 times in the game. He's not the quarterback to be thrown all that many times. I think a good average for him is 25 passes, 25 to 30 at max. And they can win football games and get the running game going. C.J. Anderson has done nothing as of late. 10 carries for 44 yards last week. I'm not liking the situation in Denver right now. The offense can't get it going. They've lost all their steam, and they're kind of showing why people were concerned about this team coming into the season. I still had them making the playoffs because of their defense, but right now it's been struggling to get some production here. So you look at the Chiefs game. I think this is a must-win for both. This is another game where I would say it's a must-win for both. Even if the Chiefs lose here still, I think they can make the playoffs, but they still need to make a dominant win here to keep themselves up as one of the best teams in the league, considering their last 2 losses were pretty hard to watch in 2 different drastic ways. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. They're at home. They're favored by a touchdown. I think this should be a good Monday Night Football game with a good matchup here. I think the Chiefs can grasp this on and get a good win because they would be 6-2. The other 2 teams I think will win this week, so they need to stay up above that. I'm going to go with Kansas City.
Do you know Trevor Siemian has not thrown a touchdown on the road yet this season? He's thrown 4 picks and no TDs.
That's a good one.
On the road. Vance Joseph insists he's the number 1 quarterback, which is I think
Lynch is not great, and he's not good.
That's probably more why. You know what? I'm picking Denver.
What?
I know. I know. I'm at this moment feeling AC is blowing up, but
he's got. Let me come up here. You're hating on the Chiefs, bro. What are you doing, bro?
He hears Chiefs lose, and then he somehow gets this signal in his head.
AC been thinking. The Chiefs have lost 2 in a row. I think that there is a blueprint to beat them. I think Denver has dominated that series over the years. I'm going back to that Houston game where they allowed those points in garbage time. They haven't won since, and I know it's only 2 games, but they haven't won since. This will be their toughest defense that they've played to date.
True.
And I think if Denver can keep this as a low-scoring game, I think that they're missing Chris Conley. I think still hurts. They don't have that number 2 option. I think you can key on Hill. If Denver can keep this into a low-scoring game, they've got a shot to win. And I'm just on a hunch. I'm going to go with Denver.
That would be an upset, and that would change a lot of thoughts. Where do you think this would put each team?
I would say this. I think Kansas City does need this win more than Denver does. Which
I think Denver needs this win a lot.
Yeah, but I think Kansas City needs this. Kansas City would be 5-3 after going 5-0.
Oh, that's the Falcons curse from a couple of years ago because they were 5-0. Then they went 5-3. They finished 8-8. So
yeah,
I would say if the Broncos the Broncos lose this game, they're not making the playoffs. They win this game, they're back up to near the top 10. If the Chiefs lose this game, they're probably 8th or 9th in the league. And if they win this game, I think you put them near 2 or 3. That's how I feel.
Let me say this in theory because I'm going.
I don't think they move if they win.
It depends on how they win.
Depending on how the other teams do. If let's say the Patriots Steelers win, and I think they still stay in the same spot.
Yeah, it's going to depend on a lot of other things. I would probably drop them to 3, depending on other things. But I still go. The other thing that's interesting is I go back to Melvin Ingram's tweet that once that Raider game ended, that this race got open. I think that the AFC West, all 3 of them are looking at the Chiefs and saying, this is a very beatable team. It just got off to a really hot start. And teams are going to start to figure out Kareem Hunt.
They have already.
Yeah. They're under 100 yards. You hold Kareem Hunt to under 100 yards. You keep this to a low-scoring game. And
I don't know if they will because I think the Broncos offense isn't good enough.
That's the concern, but they seem to get up for Kansas City, though.
They do.
That's the one thing. It's a bit of a risk for me. This is my riskiest pick of the week, I think, because I think I've been pretty safe everywhere else. But this one I'm going with the potential upset and going with Denver.
Interesting.
All right.
Let's get to the comments one more time before we we'll be here. Before we leave here. Donald Trump, of course, says bet on the Bucks. Rob says Coder's seat will be in flames if they lose. Is that a correct statement?
Who's what? Who? What? Where?
Dick Coder's seat. Dick Coder. Coder.
Dick Coder is on the hot seat if the Bucks lose?
Yes. Because this is the team we had high expectations for.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, you're probably, yeah.
Ultra with a great question. I have no idea what this answer. Ultra says, what happened to Anthony? Does he ever get invited to these streams anymore?
It seems like he can't do it.
He makes his own videos.
It's too late, so.
Predator said, oh, by the way, Deshaun says, love this channel. Thank you, bro. Predator says, I think Bucks will win. Keep the cream dream. I think that's an interesting comment. Donald says, can old man stop by? He did. Fact or fiction? Newton gets benched for Anderson in this game.
Fiction. That won't happen. That won't happen.
No, but unless if Cam loses like throws 5 picks, he ain't getting benched.
He threw 5 picks. They didn't bench him.
In the game.
He threw 5 picks.
Last one? No.
Who threw 5 picks?
Didn't Cam throw 5 picks how many interceptions?
I don't think so.
I'm talking about in one game. He's not throwing 5 picks. He threw
3 picks against the Eagles.
Okay, so sorry, correction. 5 turnovers in 2 games for Cam Newton.
Okay.
I'll make a predict. I'll maybe this is the question. Where's Cam Newton next year?
Panthers. I don't think he's the biggest reason why they're losing, to be honest with you.
He's a good reason for it.
And they're not even losing. They're 4-3.
Yeah, but they've been struggling those last 2 weeks.
But how long can you keep this guy face of the franchise? That's the question.
I don't know. We'll see, but I think he'll be in Carolina.
Fact or fiction? TJ Ward will be selling women's shoes next year.
He will not be a starter in the NFL. I don't think he'll be in the NFL. I think he'll retire.
Holy shit. We got another solo home run at 7-6, Kev. Bottom.
I know.
Yeah,
all right.
Two outs, though.
Let's wrap this up.
Oh, yeah, we saw chill out. We just saying something. Texans are the upset special for Rob. Seattle D is on the decline. That's what he says. On the decline.
How are they on the decline?
Hey, that's what he said. That's what he said. Ultra says Dylan's Cowboys will win 27-24. Predator says Cowboys 28, Redskins 24. Thank you. Deshaun 27-20 Cowboys. Okay.
He's not reading any of the Redskins scores.
Where? No one said the Redskins were going to win. I was like, no one said the Redskins. Actually, no, Rob did. He said he was going to pick the upset, but no, he didn't put a score. Based on these comments, Dylan is the best bottom line view member here. Rob says this will be Zeke's last game before his suspension, probably. Let's see here. Looking for some other comments. Training Solution says, just got here. Who do you think will win? Eagles, 49ers? No question.
EAGLES, Eagles.
No question.
My question would be this. If the Eagles lose, will AC come on the Sunday night recap?
He's been coming on the last two, so I would be very interested to see if he came on for that.
Well, he came on because
he would get shredded though.
He got pissed at your comment last week, so I would be very interested. Yeah, he would get. Oh yeah, he wouldn't. We wouldn't stop talking to him about that.
But he is saying his backup is that he always says that he's prepared for a stinker. That's his backup.
So there you go. Rob, Fact or Fiction? Simeon gets benched for Brock Osweiler.
Fiction. That's not going to happen. Vance Joseph would love to go to someone else.
That would be hilarious.
I would be laughing.
The way that's gone, like his whole career is in backwards. I don't understand it. I would love it. And last comment, Training Solution says Cam Newton throws 10 picks this year to 9 touchdowns. I think he means at the end.
I feel like he already has 9 touchdowns.
I think he means like throughout the rest of this, like from right now to the end of the year.
Maybe. I don't know. Doubt it.
Oh wait, no. Through 10 picks this year to 9 touchdowns. So that's what he has currently. 10 picks.
Oh, he does.
Touchdowns. I think that's what. Let me check that. Let me fact check that.
I wouldn't doubt that.
And yet they're still have a winning record. Panthers.
Their defense is good.
That's true. That's a correct statement. 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Okay.
It's just. I mean, your defense can be great, but the guy, he's causing more of a distraction than he is a benefit to his team.
That's true. He's gotten himself.
All right, can we wrap this up?
It just finished. Yeah. I was just giving my freaking opinion on Cam, but okay.
All right, thank you guys for watching.
Lots of damn.
Another long one. NFL Week 8 preview and predictions. Tune in to Sunday AM. We will be talking about the games. Also, Saturday has Kevol has a video. Hopefully, I can get some videos out soon. Also, the start and sit 'em Friday or Saturday. Tune in for that. I'm not sure if me and AC are doing our betting video this week. We didn't last week, but we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Mitch, Kev, Dilly.
Peace.
Peace out.
Peace.